John, you're one of my favorite guests. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
when you come on the show. Congrats on the anniversary of the movies, but on this book,
Yes.
Comedy Nerd.
That's it.
Yeah, I think you consider yourself a comedy nerd.
Yes, since I was like 10, like a crazy comedy nerd. Were you a comedy nerd?
I was a comedy nerd. Yeah, I those my first records. Most of my records were all comedy records. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield,
Yes.
Smothers Brothers. I think comedians, and it's a thing that you'll probably agree with. Like, no matter where you go, if you can go to like you'd be meeting the Queen or whatever, but if there's a comedian, you'll go straight to them and talk about working the Comedy Store or doing the improv and what sets. It's just the way comedians are.
Yeah, and so what I wanted to do was make a book. Like when I was a kid, there was a Saturday Night Live scrapbook, and it had all the sketches and photos and behind the scenes stuff, and that was the only way we understood what was happening there. And I thought that I would make a scrapbook of all the movies and TV shows that I worked on in my career and put all the memorabilia, because I'm a hoarder, and I saved everything since I was a little kid. And it's not hoarding if all your shit is great, by the way. That's a derogatory term to say hoarder.
Yes. Okay. Okay. But this is a lot of your autographs you have.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, you got some famous people.
That's my autograph collection.
That's wild. You got Phil Silvers. I saw Jackie Gleason.
Look, we have Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
And then on the back of the autograph, he wrote me a letter.
No way.
And all he basically said was the same thing he said on the front, like, thank you for asking for my autograph. And look at Billy Crystal, young Billy Crystal from Soap.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and I saved all of it like it was the most important thing, and I never treated it badly, so all the hoarding paid off.
You have all your late night talk shows. I'm in here, which I'm very thankful about. Thank you for. But
Yeah, there's with Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Oh yeah. But you talk about you like going on talk shows.
No, I always dreamed of going on talk shows. As a kid, I would go home every day and I would watch the Merv Griffin Show.
Yeah, of course.
And Mike Douglas and Dinah Shore, and then I'd watch Carson and then Letterman. So I kind of feel like everything I did in movies and TV was just to have a reason to get on a talk show.
You've done it. Here
And
you
I've
are.
done it,
Yeah.
And I've seen so many things here. Like, I think about how many times I've visited you.
Yeah.
I was here when Pearl Jam was here. I was here the first time SZA was here.
Yes.
I was here when Sandler was on with me, and I did stand-up on the show.
You did stand up here.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
You made me do a sketch with Keanu Reeves. I don't know how to do a sketch.
That's you had to do one.
You know, I've just seen so much here. Like, I have such nostalgia just for how much fun we've had.
You were telling me about your book, and you said if you have anything that you want to bring from home to show, like from your life or comedy, I was like, what do I have? So I looked through some stuff.
Oh boy, what's in your hoard?
I know. I do.
Did you save things?
My dad and my mom saved everything. My mom and dad. Thank goodness for my parents, because I don't know where anything would be. But this is my first ever stand-up act ever. I entered a contest in the Hudson Valley. It was the funniest person in the Hudson Valley, and I wrote out my first act.
Oh my gosh.
And my handwriting is still the same, by the way.
Can you read one of those jokes?
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome to the audition for Troll Productions Incorporated. So I had a troll doll.
Yeah.
Remember, we're looking for a star to appear as a sponsor to our new line of troll dolls. Let's start, Mr. John Travolta. And then I go, well, like, these trolls are so weird, right? You know, like, I swear to God.
So you did famous people talking about trolls.
That's correct. Yeah. But then
you hosted The Tonight Show.
I was happy about this because there was a contest. If you won, you win $1,000.
Yeah.
And I had my closer at the time. The big Pee Wee Herman scandal was happening. So at the end, my bit, I put Bullwinkle. I had a Bullwinkle. He's like, "Hey, Rocky," or something like that. Like, I want to play with you, but I like to play with myself. And then I pull out a Bullwinkle doll. I pull out a Bullwinkle doll from my pocket. I go, and then I go, next up, Pee Wee Herman. I go, "I know what you mean, Bullwinkle. I like to play with myself, too." And I did that.
And then you won $1,000 for that?
And I won $1,000. There it is. That was the beginning of my comedy career.
Yes.
And I had the same act my whole life.
You never can go wrong with cartoon characters masturbating. That's just a standard in comedy.
Wrong.
It's always going to work.
I brought one I thought you might laugh at, because this is, I sent this, is dated 1995. I sent my stand-up act to Letterman, to be on Letterman.
To the booker?
Yes. Yeah. And, it said,
did they like it?
"Dear Jimmy, thank you for letting us take a look at your set. Unfortunately, we're going to pass for now." Thanks again for thinking of Late Show and Close. Please find the videotape you sent us.
Oh, yeah.
So they actually sent me the tape back.
Yeah. We don't want it stinking up our office.
Yeah, exactly. That's Zoe Friedman.
Yeah.
Who's it? Yeah.
That's who rejected you.
That's who rejected
Bud Friedman's daughter.
Bud Friedman's daughter
Yeah.
from the Improv.
And you know what? She was probably right. Because you probably were doing the troll
I was
thing.
doing the troll bit. I was ahead of my time or behind my
It
time.
was too soon to send the tape.
Yes, I should have sent the tape. Yeah.
I remember sending a videotape to every booker of every comedy club in America, and I put a letter with it, like, if you want to book me, check yes, and if you don't, check no, and just not one responded in America.
No response at all.
Nobody.
I just love that. I was so excited that I even got a letter back from Letterman saying no. That I saved the rejection letter because I thought that was cool.
Yeah, right?
But that's the type of stuff that you'll read about in this book and just see what makes Judd Apatow's head.
Yeah, I had something like that happen where I tried to write jokes for Jay Leno, and I sent him a whole bunch of jokes.
Yeah.
And they probably were terrible. And then one day he called my house. I lived with my grandma at the time. My grandma answered the phone at midnight, and she's like, "Jay Leno's on the phone!" And Jay Leno called me to tell me that my jokes weren't any good. And he was so nice about it that I got excited that I could talk to him. And then recently, I had a movie, and he called me and he said, "You know, I really love the movie."
Wow. That's interesting.
He's like, I'll tell you the truth.
I'll tell you when it's good.
I told you those jokes weren't good when you were a kid.
Hey, you got to learn a little something.
I'm an honest arbiter of your
Jay
quality.
Leno. Yeah. You're celebrating 2 anniversaries this year. First one is Trainwreck, which came out 10 years ago. Man, oh man, Amy Schumer, unbelievable in that. You directed that brilliantly. Yeah. That was also one of the first times we saw LeBron James do comedy.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you know that he could do? How would you know?
I don't even know what we were thinking.
He was great.
We just thought, wouldn't it be amazing if LeBron James was like the Bruno Kirby in When Harry Met Sally? You know, like the friend who really cares about the relationship. And we thought, well, we'll ask him and we'll wind up with someone not good.
Yeah.
And then he said yes. And
have you seen him since? Do you go to games and Laker games?
Well, I go to the Laker games, but I never look him in the eye because I feel like he might still think I'm his director. And then he won't know if he should listen to me or the coach.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I kind of look away a little bit, you know. But the other day I was at a game, and I swear, I'm not sure if he saw me or not, but I thought he gave me a...
Oh.
Like a...
Oh, I like that.
Like
a little nod, like, what's up? Like, I know. Yeah, I know you're here.
Or he was just going like that.
No, he's got it. I mean, he must love you. I remember I saw him at the Olympics, and I didn't want to make eye contact either.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm going to screw things up if I talk to athletes. Let the athletes do their job, Jimmy. Why are you even there?
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to throw LeBron and be like, hey, do you recognize me? Do you recognize me? Am I famous?
No, because we're nerds. We don't understand the athletes. But they're the only people I get terrified around. I remember Mike Ditka was in the movie Kicking and Screaming, and I never said hi to him in 8 weeks. I was just so scared because I know nothing about the Bears or what to say to him, so I would just like avoid him because I was just terrified.
You Mike Ditka asked about football. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And then 20 years since The 40-Year-Old Virgin came out.
Yeah.
20 years. Classic. First movie?
That was the first movie I directed.
That is the first movie you directed.
Yeah.
Holy moly. And how do you remember the waxing scene?
The waxing scene?
How did that come about? Did you go, that's going to be in the movie, I know?
Well, Steve and I were trying to write a scene where they give him a makeover. And that's so corny, and it's been everyone's done that since like Buster Keaton, like the makeover scene. And then Steve said, what if you wax me and you really do it? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's just like, wax me for real, like rip my hair out, and I think it'll be funny because it'll hurt so much. And he's like, the reaction from me will just be so real. And I said, if you want to do it, I'll shoot it, you know. And then we set up like 5 cameras.
Yeah, because you only got one take.
You only get one rip at it, and they just like ripped his hair off.
Did you hire a waxer?
We hired this woman, and we said we want an actress that also waxes. And the woman shows up, and it is clear she has never waxed before in her life. And then she put the wax on his nipple, which is the one thing you can't do because you'll rip off the nipple.
You could rip off the nipple?
Yeah, you could. So we would have used it if we did.
No, we don't want to.
And then it just happened to work.
Oh my gosh. Well, you actually brought us, in honor of the film's 20th anniversary, you brought us a behind-the-scenes clip of the waxing scene in the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Okay.
Thank you for this. Take a look.
No! Can we Kelly Clarkson!
You look like a man-o'-lantern.
Okay, now, guys, say not the nipple, not the nipple. Okay.
Not the nipple.
Not the nipple,
Not
please.
the nipple.
Now, reach your hands up for Cal's hand.
Please, Cal, hold my hand.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, dang, he's funny, man. You're the best, dude. Not only is the movie being re-released in theaters, the 40-year-old version is also available to own with all new bonus content, which will be cool. And you're actually doing something cool for our audience. Everyone in the audience is going home with a copy of the movie. And all proceeds of this book go to charity, I will say. Judd Apatow, everyone, Trainwreck, and the 40-year-old version are being re-released in theaters August 22nd, and the 40-year-old version is now available to own with all new bonus content. More Tonight Show after the break. Stick around, everybody.